I mean, well, let's don't wishy-washy about it. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Man, I think they got billions of reasons to have an interest in who's there.
Is the NFL scripted? And I'm going to yell it a little louder because I don't think you heard
Okay.
me. Is
Okay.
the NFL scripted or is it not?
Absolutely. There you go.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, so you're a flat earther, NFL scripted.
No, I'm
So we're
not.
going all the way that way.
I'm
All
not
the way
getting
with
into
the
all the other
conspiracy theory.
conspiracies, but sometimes when you start labeling yourself sports entertainment and there's billions of dollars on the line, I don't believe there's not some people, blowing some wind in the sail to make the boat move, if that makes sense.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, people? What is happening? Welcome back to the Big B Daily Show. This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. We appreciate everybody being here. We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. What is going on, people? What is going on? So we appreciate everybody being here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. We are live. We appreciate everybody showing up. Again, TikTok, if you're here, keep tapping the screen, man. We need to get at least 5,000 likes and 30 new follows. So if you're not following, please give us a follow. We're live on YouTube. Anybody over on YouTube, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. You can do it very, very easily on TikTok by clicking that YouTube link in my bio. Subscribe to Big B Sports Talk. Come on over, join the chat. Subscribe on YouTube. A lot of stuff you get over there that you don't have access to on TikTok. So we appreciate everybody being here and showing up. Let's get into it on this Friday before the Super Bowl. It's kind of like the calm before the storm. You know what I mean? The storm happens next week. It happens next week. All the hoopla. So let's get into this, man. So little NBA talk early this morning. LeBron James. I know if you just mention LeBron James, it sends people into a tizzy. You love him. Anything that he does is great. The glazing of LeBron is incredible. The flip side of that, he's soft. He can't play in the 80s or 90s. He's a flopper. He stinks. It's just anytime you bring up the man's name, it's just it's incredible. There's no in between with LeBron either. There's no in between. Either you love him or you hate him. You love him or you hate him. I don't know why people go crazy with the crazy love and can't be honest about him. But I also don't understand why people just hate the man. I mean, he hasn't done anything to you other than maybe beat your team or he doesn't play like you want him to play. It's wild. It's just wild. Having said that, LeBron James' name is popping up in trade rumors, people. His name is coming up in trade rumors. That the Los Angeles Lakers, by the trade deadline next week, which happens to be February 8th, are looking to trade LeBron James. I don't think that anybody thought that would happen, but they are looking to trade LeBron James. Now, whether he gets traded or not, that's a different story. But what would be the purpose of the Lakers or LeBron's team throwing out the possibility of him getting traded if it wasn't a real possibility? There's no upside to LeBron leaking that he's looking for a trade or that the Lakers are trying to trade him, and vice versa for the Lakers. What's the upside? I mean, what's the point of saying, we may trade LeBron. Let's get that out in the public. How does that help? The Lakers don't need any help selling tickets. Hell, if anything, people would stop coming. if LeBron wasn't there. Now, there's also going to be a whole faction of people that would start going to Laker games because they can't stand LeBron. So whether he gets traded or not, I don't know what's out there. It is. It's looking that LeBron is actually open to the possibility of being traded somewhere. So my man Chuck Miller, it would make more sense if the Lakers were god awful. And that's my whole thing. It's not like the Lakers are horrible, because I think by the end of the season, I think the Lakers are going to end up being in the 6 or 7 spot. Maybe they have to play in the play-in to get into the playoffs, but they're not awful. But maybe they're saying, you know what? We need a rehaul. So I don't know. So, and here's an article. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. It's pulled up. Hearing from at NBA Sports Peeps, at King James is at the top of the Lakers list to trade the 39-year-old. So, and it's coming from a reputable source that had been correct about LeBron going back to Cleveland the first time. So this is not just some media outlet that's throwing some stuff out. This is not just some run-of-the-mill media outlet that's just blowing smoke about LeBron being traded. This is reputable people out here, people putting their reputation on the line, talking about it might happen. Now, again, doesn't mean that it's 100% sure, but I don't know. My man Oscar on TikTok says, trade the whole team besides LeBron. I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if they need to do that. Hell, they just won last night without LeBron and Anthony Davis. So it's not like the pieces aren't there, people. It's not like the pieces aren't there, and it's almost like some guys, they buckle under the pressure. So David Pingalore, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It doesn't matter. Again, that's over on YouTube. He says on Twitter, was recently told from NBA people that LeBron James has put feelers out regarding a return to the Cavs in 2 years. That's what this guy was correct about back in 2012. He had the story out there first, and that came out in February of 2012 when he was still with the Heat. So this is not just some run-of-the-mill guy that's talking about LeBron looking for a trade, people. So, looking for a trade. It's interesting, to say the least. It's interesting, to say the least. So, I'll be interested to see what he does. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think they can win a series or two in the playoffs. Can they make it to the finals? Probably not. Are they really a finals contender at this point? Probably not. And this could also be a smokescreen for what they're actually doing behind the scenes to try to get somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Throw out something that the Lakers are looking to trade LeBron. LeBron putting feelers out. LeBron looking to get traded. Throw that out there, and all the while, everybody's distracted by that, and you're working behind the scenes to make another trade happen. I don't put that past him. We appreciate the gift, Carson. We appreciate it. But yeah, who knows? And Darren Howard on TikTok said, Braun for Clay, let's go. If the Lakers did that, they would be one of the worst. That would just be one of the dumbest things that I've seen a franchise ever do. LeBron for Klay Thompson. Whew. Not to mention, look, we love Klay, but Klay is not even close to the same player that he was. So I don't think LeBron's going to get traded. I think the theory that I just talked about is what the Lakers and LeBron are doing, throwing his name out there as a smokescreen while they work behind the scenes. So my man Matt Hasselbring says they need to trade him to a contender and get some draft picks and start over. Yeah, that's what I think. Because they've given up so many draft picks over the years. People don't want to say it, but the Lakers got to start over. If the Lakers are trying to be good, the Lakers got to start over. I mean, look, LeBron's 39 years old. And yeah, he's still playing great. Averaging 25, 7, and 7. I mean, I say that like those are just easy numbers, but after a while, doesn't it just become repetitive? The man averages 25, 7, and 7. He gets it every year. I mean, like clockwork. It's usually 27, 7, and 7. I mean, just like clockwork. At 39 years of age, he's still doing it. But the Lakers, they got to start over. I think they got to get some draft picks. But my whole thing is, what do you do? Who do you bring in? I mean, they can't go out and bring in any free agent. What free agent is going to be better than what LeBron's doing? So I think it's a complete overhaul if that's what they're trying to do. I like that approach. My man, Pat Cockrell, if LeBron does get traded, do you think the stipulation is that he gets traded to a team that promises to draft his kid? There ain't no way that that's going to happen. There ain't no way. First of all, this is the last year of LeBron's contract. He's got a player option for next year. No team is going to say, yeah, we're going to draft your son. Not to mention, I'm not sure his son is even ready to play in the NBA, regardless of whether LeBron says it or not. So, regardless. Somebody, Smokey in TikTok said, trade him to Oklahoma City. They got all the draft picks. Oklahoma City's going to make a trade, but it ain't going to be for LeBron. They're going to try to go get some sort of big man, I think. I think Oklahoma City is the most dangerous team in the NBA at the trade deadline because of all the picks that they got. They're one of the most dangerous teams out there. That's what I believe. I think they're going to go get them a rim protector. Look, we love Chet, but Chet is still only weighs 100 pounds. I mean, he's paper thin. Good player, got to put on at least 25 more pounds of muscle. If he can do that, if his body type can take that. I'm guessing it can. I mean, what is he, 20? 21? He's got time. He's got time. I know the NBA is a league that if you're 21 years old and if you're not at your peak, they'll just throw you away. I know the NBA has now become that, but you still can develop. You can still develop. So it's interesting that this whole dynamic of what the Lakers are talking about, what LeBron is talking about. But I like the Thunder. Somebody's going to do something. Gwendo says LBJ back to Miami. That'll never happen. That him and Pat Riley despise each other. I was going to say hate, but hate's a strong word that I don't like to use unless it's me talking about something that I absolutely hate, like the University of Kentucky. I hate Kentucky. But yeah, they despise each other. That'll never happen. That'll never happen. It's a good thought, but it'll never happen. So we'll see what happens with all of that. I think that, like I said, I think it's just a smokescreen. I don't think there's any way in the world that the Lakers just give up on the season. And that's what they would be doing if they traded LeBron. They'd be giving up on the season. Fans would be irate because the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. But if they give up on the season, fans will be irate. And who knows how good they'll be moving forward anyway. So, and do you trust Anthony Davis leading your team? I mean, Charles Barkley named him Street Clothes. I love the nickname. Although he's been fairly healthy this year and playing well. But I don't know that you want him leading your franchise as frail as he's been. Plus, he's getting a little bit older. We'll see what happens with all of it, people. We will see what happens. Let's move on. So they announced the NBA All-Stars, the reserves yesterday. And the first thing that popped in my head was, how the hell are there no Sacramento Kings on the All-Star team? Number 5 seed in the West. 2 of the best players in the NBA, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. And look, I know Minnesota, they've been hot. They're right at the top of the West, right at the top of the league. Sabonis is better than Karl Anthony Towns, people. Let's just be honest. Sabonis is better than Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns averages 3 more points than he does. Everything else, Sabonis is better. Literally everything. First of all, he's a leading rebounder in the NBA. That would be number one. But he shoots a better percentage from 2, a better percentage from 3. He rebounds better. He averages more assists. His true shooting percentage is better. Everything else on the court, he does better than Karl Anthony Towns. And he didn't make the All-Star team. It's a travesty. It's a travesty. It's more of a travesty than De'Aaron Fox. Look, the guard position, especially the point guard position out west, somebody was going to get left out. Somebody was going to get left out. That's the travesty to this thing. I mean, but who are you going to leave out? You're not going to leave off Curry. Okay? Who is he going to take off? Booker? I don't know that you can leave off Booker either. And he wasn't better than the starters. I mean, SGA, no. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But like I said, Fox, it's unfortunate. There's 4 guards. There's like 6 that are really good. He was just the odd man out. He's just the odd man out. So, and Big Mike, yeah, we were talking about Sabonis being better than Karl Anthony Towns. It's not even a debate that he's better than Karl Anthony Towns. Every metric except for scoring average shows that he's better than Karl Anthony Towns, but yet he got left off of the All-Star team. So I think it's just odd to me. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Now in the East, did y'all see anybody get snubbed in the East? Because I didn't. I didn't see any snubs in the East that were just so outlandish or anything like that. Yeah, Brunson getting in I thought was great. First of all, Brunson should have been a starter over Damian Lillard. Let's just call it like it is. Brunson should have been a starter over Damian Lillard. And New York Knicks fans, you got to stand up. I know Damian is more of a superstar because he's done it for longer, but Jalen Brunson is better than Damian Lillard. He should have been a starter. I mean, come on, New York City. You should have got your man in there. So, more afraid of the refs than the Chiefs. Okay. One of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who? What Cleveland Cavalier got snubbed? Because Donovan Mitchell made it. Who do you thinking got snubbed? I don't think any Cleveland Cavalier got snubbed. And more than importantly, who are you taking off and putting somebody on? The Cat Sabonis debate, I don't think there's any debate to that because somebody with every single metric except for scoring average, where Karl Anthony Towns is 2.5 points higher, everything else Sabonis clears them. That's an argument, So it is what it is, though. It is what it is. But I like the all-star teams. I had to mention those snubs by Sacramento. But Sacramento is still getting disrespected. They should have had an all-star, at least one. It's tough for me to say two because, again, even if you're talking wing players, what are you going to take off, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? I don't think so. So, Jarrod Allen may get in because Embiid is hurt, but he didn't deserve to be in over anybody. So, he didn't deserve to get in over anybody. Now, he might get put in now because Embiid is not going to play. Plus, Julius Randle is not going to play either. So, there's some opportunity there. Sacramento is a dark horse in the West. Yeah, they are. So, I loved what was going on with like I said, the all-star teams. I just thought that they got snubbed. I thought Sacramento, especially Sabonis, I thought it was a snub. So, My man Austin, coming back to the LeBron story, they'd also lose a lot of money that LeBron brings in. Yeah, they would. Yeah, the Lakers. Look, at the end of the day, it's a business. The Lakers aren't silly, but like I said, I just think it's a smokescreen. I don't think LeBron's actually getting traded. I think they're working some stuff behind the scenes. So, should OKC go after Andre Drummond from the Bulls? 1,000% they should. Look, Andre Drummond isn't going to give you anything scoring-wise. Not much anyway. You're not going to go to him, throw him the ball down low. You may throw him a bone or two, a half, but you don't have to go to him. But he's still a rebounder, a space eater. He can still do that at a high level. So, yeah, they should go after him. They should go after him. I still think the Lakers are going to somehow try to get Zach LaVine. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I still believe that they're going to do that. I still believe it. There's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity there. So, let's see here. Towns still doesn't play up to potential. No, he doesn't, Gwendo. He doesn't at all. He doesn't at all. You know, we'll see, though. My man Pat Cockrell is campaigning for SGA to win the MVP. I think that's legitimate. I think that has to start being in the conversation. It's got to be legitimate. So, yeah. Did Halliburton get selected? Yeah, Halliburton's the starter. But I don't think Halliburton's going to play either. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens with him. So, we'll I would bet that he plays because he hasn't been there before. Even if he only plays 5 or 10 minutes, I would bet he gives it a go. Nothing crazy, just, kind of stretch his legs, but he hasn't been before. I would bet that he does. Echo over on YouTube says Luka is garbage on defense. Echo, you got to pay more attention. He's not great, but he's gotten a little better. 2 years ago, Luka was one of the worst defenders in the league. But that narrative is a little older. He definitely got a lot better last year. He's a little better. He ain't great on defense. I don't want to kid you, but he's not one of the worst in the league anymore. You're not going to just say, oh, Luka's just garbage on defense. You're not saying that anymore. He at least puts up a fight, where before he didn't even put up a fight. Yeah, Luka's a lot better on the defensive end than what he was 2 years ago. Like I said, 2 years ago, Luka was one of the worst defenders in the league. But not anymore. Not anymore. He's putting up at least a fight. He'll battle you. Not going to keep a lot of people in front of him, but at least he'll fight you. Which, that's all you can ask. That's all you can ask. Let's move on, people. Let's move on. Now, here is a topic that I think it's always debatable. Who's in the top 5 of quarterbacks all time? I think Patrick Mahomes is at 4 right now. If he moves up and wins this game, do you put him at 3? Do you put him at 3? Now, here's my list. Here's my list, just so we have some context to this. I got Montana, Brady, Manning, Mahomes, Elway. I hate leaving off Marino because Marino was so good, but at some point, you got to win something. You got to win something. So I guess the question is do you guys have Mahomes in your top 5 already? I know a lot of people say, oh, he's got to do more. He's got to play more. I think if 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, I mean, I get that you got to have longevity if you're trying to be the best ever. Longevity is a real thing. I don't know why people bash longevity. Longevity is a real thing. Being able to do it for a long time means something. But also being able to accomplish a lot very quickly, that has to mean something too. But I guess the question, and this is how I always like to frame it, if Mahomes stopped playing after this Super Bowl, if he didn't play football anymore, where do you have him? I think that's how you always have to look at a all-time best debate. Is if they didn't play another second of football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, where do you have them? And for me, I have them fourth right now. It's going to be tough for me to move him ahead of Manning, but if he goes out and he wins this Super Bowl and he dominates the game and they win a Super Bowl, I'm going to put him ahead of Peyton Manning. And I know what people are going to say. He doesn't have near the all-time stats of Manning. He doesn't. But the one thing that we always used to say about Peyton Manning was he couldn't get it done in the playoffs. I think people forget that. We used to kill Peyton Manning just like people are killing Josh Allen, just like people are killing Lamar Jackson. We used to destroy Peyton Manning for not being able to get it done in the playoffs. And it was deserved. You know, nobody's saying that he didn't deserve it. But we used to do it. And if somebody is able to get it done, we have to uplift that person, give them the credit that they deserve. So, and somebody over on TikTok brought up Dak Prescott. Hey, my man, I'm sorry, but we're talking about the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Dak Prescott doesn't even need to be brought up in that conversation at all. At all. And I know what you're saying. You're getting at, well, we killed Dak Prescott for not getting it done in the playoffs, but we're past just that. We're at an elite level of quarterbacks all time. So, we're not bringing up Dak. Dan Marino. I got Dan Marino at 6. So, look, Dan Marino didn't win anything, but if Dan Marino was playing right now, with the rules the way that they are, Dan Marino might throw for 6,500 yards a season. That's how quick his release was, how strong his arm was, how accurate of a thrower he was. He might throw for 6,500 yards a year. People don't give Dan Marino credit because he didn't win anything, which is why I have him lower on the tier. But don't kid yourself. As far as quarterback talent, I don't know how many people were better than him. So, I don't know how many people are better than him. But that's just me. My man Gwendo, I agree. If he wins this one with his talent, he's number 3 or 4. Has to be. My man Pete Cockrell, his list is Joe Montana, Brady, Peyton Manning, Mahomes, Dan Marino. He got the same list that I got in the same order, except I have Elway over Marino. A lot of people discredit John Elway and talk about his throwing percentage. That was back in the day, man. They were throwing the ball 25 yards down the field every pass. They weren't doing check downs to receivers. They weren't doing quick slants. If they dropped back, they were taking 7-step drops, and they were letting that thing go. So your percentage ain't going to be high when that's what you're doing. Elway was that guy. So my man Matt Hasselbring over on YouTube says, Mahomes moves past Manning with the Super Bowl win Sunday. What do you think about Breeze in the top 6 or 7? I think Breeze can be in the top 10. I think Breeze can be in the top 10. It did a lot of throwing to get the stats that he got. I mean, but you can't knock what he did. You just can't. But I don't know when it comes down to it, was he better than those other guys? Like, he's not better than Marino. He's not better than Elway. He's not better than Steve Young. You know, would anybody think that Drew Brees is better than Steve Young? I don't think so. Steve Young didn't do it as long because, number one, he went to the USFL first. Then he went to Tampa Bay. Then he played behind Joe Montana. But once he got his opportunity, the man wrecked shop. So, and we'll start talking about this a little bit more as time goes on. I love these kinds of debates. As long as people don't get silly and disrespectful, I love these kinds of debates. It's just like a lot of people, most people, I would say, have Brady as the GOAT over Montana. I just can't do it, man. I can't do it. And here's the reason why. For the same argument that people talk about Michael Jordan being better than LeBron James, I try to stay consistent with that. If that's the argument that everybody brings up, and it is, he got 6 rings. He went to the final 6 times and he never lost. Joe Montana went to the Super Bowl 4 times and he never lost. He threw 12 touchdowns and no interceptions. Until somebody does that, not to mention all the other stats and other things that Montana has, it's going to be tough for me to put somebody ahead of that. Tom Brady included. Even though Tom Brady has 7 rings, he didn't do what Joe Montana did in the Super Bowl. No. So, and that's right. It's not like, no, Joe Montana has 4 rings, brother, not 3. He's got 4. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But I like the debate. And it ain't like Tom Brady's some slouch either. It ain't like we're trying to put some, and it ain't like either one of them are. It's not like he's some slouch. So, where do I have Drew Brees? I don't. Drew Brees is down at the bottom of my top 10 if he's in it at all. I'll be honest. I'm not that big of a Brees guy. I saw what they did. I saw what their offense was. It was a lot of dink and dunk passes. But you can't, again, he completed the passes. He was pretty accurate for a little guy. I mean, Drew Brees is a little guy. So, but I just don't think he's as talented. Like, he's not as talented as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I have ahead of him for sure. So, for sure he is. So, somebody also said Jordan has Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, but LeBron should have won Defensive Player of the Year over but over Marc Gasol. The media didn't vote him for it. Hell, they voted Marc Gasol second team all defense that year, but somehow they voted him Defensive Player of the Year. That doesn't even make sense. So you can't put that into that. It is what it is. Like I said, the same media that voted a guy second team all defense, which means they thought another center was better than him defensively, somehow voted that guy to be the Defensive Player of the Year. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. So sometimes some of these media-driven awards, it's like, hell, they confuse themselves. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see here. Pat Cockrell over on YouTube. Again, should we open up the top 5 NBA all-time argument on a Friday? I don't mind. Do y'all mind? I don't mind at all. Let's get it going. It's Friday. The Super Bowl isn't here. There's some other things that we can talk about, but do y'all mind opening up TikTok and YouTube? Do y'all mind opening up an NBA all-time greatest? I don't mind. I don't mind. So I put a video out actually on YouTube yesterday on it. Top 5 all time. Let's start with number 5. Anybody got a problem with Larry Bird being 5? If you do, get out. I'm just kidding. Larry Bird, look, he grew up like an hour and 15 minutes from where I'm from. He's my all-time favorite. Larry Bird. And here's my 5, from 5 to 1. Bird 5, Magic 4, Kareem 3, LeBron 2, Jordan 1. It's just that simple for me. I know there's going to be a bunch of people saying Kobe. No, Kobe's not in the top 5. Now, Kobe's in the top 7, top 6, but Kobe's not in the top 5. And the reason being is because Kobe was a carbon copy of Michael Jordan. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's worse things that you can be. And he did it at a high level. But Jordan did it better than him. So you were a carbon copy, but you weren't as good as what you copied. You got to take a knock for that, in my opinion. So, but let's not kid ourselves. Let's not put Kobe Bryant at like 12. No. Kobe might be 6. If he ain't 5, let's say Kobe is 6. Let's not get silly. Let's not get silly. Somebody says LeBron 1, MJ 2, Kareem 3. I don't dispute that. Hell, there was a time that I believed that Kareem was 1. And let's dive into that for a little bit. How come Kareem gets so much slander? How come Kareem can't be number 1? How come we don't do that? How come Kareem isn't 1? So my man Hasselbrink doesn't even have Jordan or LeBron in his top 5. I think that's nuts. He got Jordan 1, Kareem 2, Magic, Bird, and then Kobe. I mean, here's the thing. If we're saying that LeBron, we're talking carbon copies, LeBron is more like Magic than he is anybody else. LeBron does Magic better than Magic. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest. More athletic. If you want to say Magic is a better passer, okay, but it ain't by that much. He doesn't rebound better or score better. I mean, LeBron does Magic better than Magic. You're never going to get me to say Bird's out of the top 5. I don't care if you put a knife to my throat. You're never going to get me to get Bird out of my top 5. Ever, ever, ever. You might say, oh, Big B, you're just being biased. Yes, I'm biased. Yes, I am biased. I don't care. So Magic is a better team player. How do you measure team player? How do you measure if somebody's a better team player? So I don't know how you would say that he's a better team player. I think that's wild. But I don't know how you would ever measure who's a better team player. Wilt Chamberlain doesn't get enough love. Wilt Chamberlain doesn't get enough love. Now, the argument against Wilt is that Wilt played against guys that were not near as big, strong, and athletic or tall as he was. That's the knock against Wilt Chamberlain. Bill Russell is not in the top 5. No. Bill Russell was playing in that same era with Wilt Chamberlain, but the man shot 40% when you're 6 inches taller than everybody else. I'm sorry. You're a 40% shooter that guys that come up to your armpit? I'm sorry. No. And you can talk to me about how great a defensive player he was. And he was. And he was the ultimate winner. Great. But as far as player, no. Not to mention the Celtics had really good teams. They had the best teams. And there was only 8 of them in the league at the time. I mean, it wasn't like there was 100 teams. So, why is Iverson in anyone's top 5? I don't know. Did I miss that on TikTok? I hope I didn't. Because if I did, or I hope I did, because if I see it, I'm making fun of you. I am making fun of you. Yeah, the Celtics had the best team for at least 10 years. So, here's one, Pat Cockrell. MJ, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Kobe. I'm sorry, Pat. I love you, brother. And no Bird, you get no play. No Bird. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Gwendo, I like his. NBA, Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, Wilt. I'm sorry. I love you, Gwendo, and I love the list. But no Bird, no dice. No Bird, no dice. And then you get the haters. You get the guys that are 25 years and younger that say, Bird couldn't play in the NBA today. There's no way he could dominate in the NBA today. Has anybody ever seen Luka play? I mean, Luka somehow dominates in the NBA. You don't think Larry Bird could do that? If you don't, you haven't watched enough basketball. Or you've never seen Larry Bird play, so you don't know. That's what I would say. You have just never seen it. You only go by what you see. And so he couldn't do it. Larry Bird can get to any spot on the basketball court that he wanted to, shoot over anybody. He is 10 times the shooter that Luka could dream about being. You got to stop with the craziness. Got to stop with the craziness. Tim Duncan, he's not in the top 5, but he's definitely in the top 10. Definitely in the top 10. The list, here's the list that somebody put out yesterday, and I copied and I put it up on my YouTube and TikTok page. It was Shaq was 10. They didn't have Kobe at all, which I was like, this is a horrible list. They had no Kobe in the top 10. And I'm sorry, any list that doesn't have Kobe Bryant in it, it's not serious. It's not serious. It had Bill Russell at 7. No. So Hakeem is not in top 5. I love Hakeem, though. I might take Hakeem over Tim Duncan. That's a good debate. That's a good argument to take Hakeem over Duncan. But I don't know. I think people disrespect Tim Duncan, too, on how good Tim Duncan was. Just because he wasn't flashy, didn't talk a lot. Tim Duncan was outstanding, people. But I think I would take the Dream over him. I do. Dream didn't have as good of teams as Duncan did. The Dream was that guy for a long time. The Dream was that guy and on defense, the defensive end. I mean, whew. I don't know. Yeah, Tim didn't need to talk. The Dream didn't talk either. So I love the conversation, though, man. I love it. Let me flip the script real quick, and we can come back to this. And somebody had asked me this question earlier. We're going to bring it up real quick, and we'll come right back to the NBA, man. I just want to get your all's thoughts on this. Baker Mayfield is now calling the shots in Tampa Bay. If any of y'all didn't see, there is an article out there where they're asking Baker Mayfield, is he going to sign back with Tampa, basically? And he's like, hey, man, it depends on who they bring in as the offensive coordinator. We'll see. I love Tampa because they gave me an opportunity, but we're going to take this one day at a time. Think about this from last year. Baker Mayfield was begging to just have a job in the NFL. He was begging to have a job. And he goes from that to basically telling Tampa Bay, you better bring in the right guy or I'm leaving. Don't you love how the tables can turn in sports so quickly? I love that. I love it. Jalen, you're damn right over on TikTok. Then Baker Mayfield was almost out of the league. He absolutely was. And now Baker's going to, because if you think that Tampa's the only team that wants Baker Mayfield to be a quarterback, you're kidding yourself. There's about 10 to 12 other teams in the league right now that will say, you know what, we can sign Baker. We can have Baker be our quarterback. And it's just wild how fortunes can change and narratives can change so quickly in sports in general. I mean, nobody in the world thought that about Baker Mayfield last year. They were like, hey, man, does he deserve a job? Do you want him to be your backup? And now, here we are telling Tampa Bay, hey, man, y'all better bring in the right offensive coordinator because if you don't, I'm out. Yeah, here it is. The article pulled up on YouTube. Baker wants to know who the offensive coordinator is before he even talks a contract. I'm not even talking to you about a contract until I see who the offensive coordinator is. Don't even bother me. Is basically what he's saying. Don't even bother me until I know who the offensive coordinator is. I love it. So let Baker be in a system for more than 1 year. He is a good quarterback. You could say that. That's a legitimate conversation. That's a legitimate argument. Because what did he have, like 4 offensive coordinators in Cleveland? Something stupid. And the 1 year that he had the same one, he was pretty good. And then he got hurt, and then they got rid of him. But that's Cleveland. And then they brought in a guy, gave him $230 million guaranteed that can't play anymore. Whew. Raiders. I said it earlier One of my biggest friends who's a diehard Raider fan, he don't like it. And I'm like, bro, you need to like it. They got Cliff Kingsbury. You don't think Baker would like playing for him? I think he already played for him. But they don't have a good relationship, though, do they? That's right, at Texas Tech. Didn't Cliff Kingsbury didn't give him a scholarship and kind of told him to leave. And you know Baker is petty, and he'll hold a grudge. I don't know if he'd go play for Kingsbury. Although he did thrive under that offense that 1 year in college, I don't know if he'd go play for him. He's petty. But that would Baker, if he's smart, that would be an option. That would be an option. Kingsbury needs to swallow some pride and say, hey, man, I was wrong. I apologize. I was wrong. You were right. And if we can get past it, let's go get some wins. Let's make some music together. So who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, man, I think that is I think the Baker phenomenon and what he is doing is that's a good story. That's a good story. Just literally from barely hanging on to having a job. The Tampa Bay was desperate, and they made him compete with a guy that can't play in the NFL. Let's just keep it real. Kyle Trask, he can't play in the NFL. And they made Baker compete with him to get the job. And now he's turning that into not only did we win our division, we won a playoff game. We damn near beat the Lions to go to the NFC Championship game. I need a contract. Oh, and by the way, you better hire the right offensive coordinator or we're not even going to talk contract with you. I love it. I love it. Now, Mike Yates says he needs to relax a bit. I don't think so. You got a limited time, especially the way he was treated over the last year and a half. You got limited time to make money in the NFL. He doesn't need to relax. Why does he need to relax? If his thing is he's not a rookie anymore. He's not a second-year guy. He's trying to get a second contract and rebuild his reputation again. So if you bring in the wrong guy, why does he want to be a part of that? He don't want to be a part of that. I get what you're saying. He needs to be humble. Nah, not this time. Not this time. And I'm not sure, Mike, where you're thinking that Baker played behind the best offensive line, but Tampa didn't have the best offensive line. Now, he did have great weapons, but they weren't the best offensive line. Let's not kid ourselves, my man. Let's not do that. Let's not try to diminish them and do that. Yes, Matt Hasselbein. Baker was on the verge of being a backup before Tampa. Now he wants to call the shots. Come on, man. Yes, Matt, yes. He wants to call. He's got the leverage. He's got the leverage in Tampa. What are they going to say? We don't want you? Okay, I'll leave. I'll go somewhere else. The fan base will crucify the Tampa Bay brass if they let that happen. If they let that happen. Tampa's been looking for a quarterback to be there long term. This could be your answer. I mean, Tampa was so willing to get a quarterback, they were willing to keep 30 for 30 Winston. They've been wanting a quarterback so bad. They were willing to settle for that until Tom Brady came. So come on, man. I love it. I love Baker. You go ahead, brother. You go ahead. So Mike Yates said the Eagles hiring Kellen Moore is the nail in the coffin. They won't win the division next year. Yeah, I have no idea why they would hire Kellen Moore. I think that was a horrible hire. I think it was a horrible hire. So, yeah, I think it's – I think that was – I don't know. I think Kellen Moore's star has burnt out. I think his star has burnt out. You know, he was with the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones kept him on after they fired the coach. And then all of a sudden the coach was like, look, man, he's not doing what I want him to do. So if you want me to stay, I'm calling the plays regardless. So if you want him here, that's fine, but he ain't calling no more plays. Got fired, goes to the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. They're not great. Even before Herbert got hurt, they weren't great. It's just a mess. Kellen Moore, now he's in Philly. That's a mistake. There were other people out there that you could have hired. That's a mistake. He won't run the football enough. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. So, yeah, man, the Friday before the Super Bowl, we got a lot to go over. By the way, just as a reminder, people, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., Big B Daily Show. We're here. You guys are here. Tell a friend. Bring a friend next time on TikTok. If you're not following, please give us a follow. We're almost at the goal of 5,000 likes. Y'all keep tapping that screen, man. Keep tapping the screen on TikTok and click on the YouTube link in my bio and come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube, man. You get a lot more access to stuff. Plus, the chat's a little bit more fun over on YouTube. I throw it up on the screen. Always give you a shout out. We appreciate that. Anything to support the show, any gifts that you send, we appreciate all of it, man. Super chats, we love it. We absolutely love it. So we appreciate everything that you guys are doing. We're growing, man. We're growing slow, but we're growing. We are growing. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. My producer gets on me, man. Look, I lost 75 pounds, and we're going to end the show on this. I've lost 75 pounds. I hurt my knee, as you all know, and I haven't been able to get out and walk. I started walking again yesterday. So got about almost 2 miles. It was about a mile and a half, a little over a mile and a half. I got it in. Felt good about it. But my producer, a man that I've known for 25 years, a man that I would like to call my brother, making fun of me because the chair that I'm on, if y'all notice, it keeps sinking down and down and down. And I don't know how, the only way I know to stop it, I got to lose some weight. It's already a big man chair. What else am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, TikTok? What am I supposed to do, YouTube? And all he wants to do is make fun of me. Now, does that sound like a good friend to you all? Does that sound like a good friend to you all? Why would he do that? Again, I didn't just meet this man. 25 years. We used to live together in college. I taught him everything he knows about life, about football. He knew nothing. He was wet behind the ears. It was because of me. The man had a career in the NFL all because I let him beat me up in practice, people. I wasn't going to the NFL, but I knew he could. And I said, man, just beat me up in practice. Now, I'm a good friend. Wouldn't y'all agree I'm a good friend? I let him do that so he could practice on me. And here we are 25 years later, and all he wants to do is make fun of me about where I'm at, what my chair looks like. I don't get it. I don't get it, people. Not only do I not get it, I don't understand it. So if you're not getting shit, then it ain't a real friend, brother. You know what, Pat? I agree. But it don't mean I can't let him know about it. It don't mean I can't let him know about it. And I'm going to let him know about it. It's pathetic. But if y'all could see me right now, I'm almost sitting like a catcher in this damn chair, man. I got to do something. I got to get another chair. This is killing me. You know, I don't have knees like Becky, okay? I don't know. I'm 48 years old. This shit is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for showing up today. We will be back again next week. By the way, just for you guys to understand, I got a new show out. It is on YouTube, so you'll have to come to YouTube to see it. It comes on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central. It is instant replay. Me and another friend of mine from college, we are just giving you a bunch of stuff. It's a lot less serious. It's laid back. Come check us out, man. Come check us out. It is instant replay, 8 p.m. Central Time every Tuesday on YouTube. We give you sports, pop culture. Most of the time, we're giving each other a bunch of shit. It's laughs, it's fun, it's laid back. Y'all would enjoy it. Y'all would really, really enjoy it. So come on over. We've been doing, the first couple of weeks, he had Wi-Fi issues. That's what we were making fun of him the whole time, making Wi-Fi issues. This past week, we got a whole show in. It was great. It was great, man. So I figure y'all would love that. So again, come over, subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube, man, and come check that out also every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central. I will holler at you guys. We will come back. We'll be back next week. Next week is Super Bowl week, so we'll get into it next week. I appreciate y'all. Love you, and aloha.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.